What would you do if someone tried to quietly steal your land, rewrite your rights, and call it community beautification? In a quiet Ohio suburb, one man fought back not with anger, but with evidence, a live stream, and a single, well-timed wire cut. This is the true story of how one homeowner exposed an HOA's secret power grab and brought the entire operation crashing down. It began with a flyer, not a notice, not a letter. Just a bright pink sheet of paper, taped to my mailbox with cheerful clip art, and two words printed in bold across the top: community integration. Underneath was a message from the Pine Creek Homeowners Association, welcoming me to their shared beautification initiative. They outlined expectations, fence alignment, landscaping compliance, noise etiquette, and signed off with a quote about unity and order. The problem: I didn't belong to their HOA. My name is Rob, and I had just purchased 3 acres of open land on the edge of the Pine Creek development in Ohio. It was legally independent. No dues, no committees, no restrictions. Just quiet land where I planned to build an orchard and a greenhouse, my first real break from the noise of the corporate world I'd walked away from. I called the number at the bottom of the flyer. That's when I heard Linda's voice for the first time. Linda spoke like she'd already won. Her tone was syrupy sweet with something sharp hiding behind it. She told me I was technically adjacent and that community visual continuity gave the HOA standing to curate shared borders. She said they'd be extending community gardens and that I should feel lucky. I told her no. She laughed. Within a week, industrial paint lines began appearing in the grass, white and neat, mapping out beds and benches. A sign was planted overnight at the edge of the road: future Pine Creek garden expansion. By community vote. I hadn't been part of that vote. Nobody asked, nobody knocked. Then came the crews. One morning, I woke up to the rumble of trucks. Workers were tilling my field, unloading cedar planters and wheelbarrows of soil. Someone had marked out walking paths. Small saplings were already in the ground. I confronted the foreman. He handed me a clipboard with an order from the HOA Development Committee. I told him it wasn't valid. He shrugged and said they were already paid. I recorded everything. I called the sheriff. A deputy came out, heard my story, and told me it was a civil issue. Take it up with zoning, he said. This kind of stuff happens more than you'd think. When I called zoning, they asked if I had fences. I said no. They said I should probably get some. It felt like I was shouting into a void. So I did what I knew how to do. I gathered proof, videos, time-stamped photos, drone shots of the installations creeping deeper onto my land. I set up livestream cameras. I downloaded old permit maps. I found a paper trail just enough to begin pressing back. That's when I found the box. It was tucked behind thick shrubs on the far side of the property. A gray, padlocked utility box with conduit running out of it, buried under soil and snaking toward Pine Creek's clubhouse. I traced it. It powered the string lights at their park. It juiced their outdoor speakers. I noticed the wiring branching out toward 3 homes that backed onto my property. And when I followed the paperwork, I found something else. The original owner of my land had granted an easement for shared power, revoked in 2018. They were stealing electricity. I called the utility company. They confirmed there were no active easements or meters registered to that source. The technician I spoke with actually said, "Wait, they've been using this. This was shut down 5 years ago. That's when I knew I had them." But I didn't go public right away. I waited, planned, and quietly started teasing something online. I began a live video series titled Countdown to Reclaim. No names, no context. Just cryptic clips of white paint lines vanishing, trees being tagged for removal, and close-ups of power lines. The online comments exploded with theories. Some thought it was an art project. Others guessed a corporate takedown. The mystery built for 10 days straight. Then came the night. Pine Creek's biggest HOA event of the year, a spring celebration with catered food, lanterns, and live music. They had everything: wired sound, ambient lighting, an outdoor projector, all powered by the line running through my property. I waited behind the hedge with wire cutters in one hand, my phone in the other. The live stream had already begun. Thousands were watching. I waited for the music to hit its peak, for Linda to step on stage and begin her speech. She wore a white blazer, holding a mic like a queen in a garden court. That's when I cut the line. Instantly, darkness swept over the field. Music died mid-verse. The projector glitched into static. Lights popped, and half the guests gasped. And then Linda fell, right off the riser, tumbling into a bed of hydrangeas like a toppled statue. I stepped into the clearing with a flashlight, holding a folder thick with documentation. "This land is mine," I said, "and you've been trespassing, wiring illegal utilities, and planning development without a single legal right." The silence was staggering. I handed out copies photos of the stolen electricity hookup, easement revocation records, invoices for unauthorized landscaping, and drone shots of Linda leading public tours across my land. The utility company had already arrived. They disconnected the entire line permanently, and just like that, the party was over. The next morning, the video had 3.2 million views. Local news picked it up. Linda tried to defend herself in a short radio interview, but her voice cracked under the pressure. Within a week, she resigned. But it didn't stop there. An independent audit revealed that HOA funds had been used to pay for the garden build-out, the catered events, even personal expenses like Linda's salon appointments and her nephew's college application consultant. Lawsuits followed. The HOA board fractured. Several homeowners launched a petition to dissolve the HOA entirely, citing financial mismanagement and abuse of authority. As for me, I built fences, installed new security cameras, planted an orchard of gala apples and black cherries. I built my greenhouse. I filed a trespass report with the sheriff's office this time, with enough evidence that they couldn't call it civil. And I framed the original flyer, the pink one. It's hanging in my workshop now, right next to the blueprint of the electrical layout. Every now and then, I get asked why I didn't just let it go, why I didn't sell, why I risked backlash. But here's the truth. People like Linda count on silence. On you backing down. They rewrite the rules and hope you won't notice until it's too late. But some of us don't scare easy. I didn't fight back out of anger. I fought back because it was mine. And some lines you don't just cut, you defend them.